Hello, this is xNira, and I'm making this video to talk about four things. I made a list. So, the first two are my general thoughts about healers and dancers, and the latter two are kind of case studies to show how I think about certain problems of relative unit strength, i.e., kind of tier lists, and team building. My hope is that after seeing how I approach these issues, you'll be able to kind of apply similar logic and critical thinking skills yourself and determine what you think is strong. Because, being able to decide for yourself what is like SS tier and what isn't, I think you'll find the game more enjoyable instead of just being told what to do, and how to, what units are good by the tier list floating around. So, moving on to the first point, my general thoughts on healers and dancers are that they are only as good as their offensive teammates. This is especially true for dancers. So, if you've got a level 40 plus Hector, and your xNira is giving him 2 turns, this is super OP, especially given that he only has 1 movement. But if you're giving 2 turns to the free 2-star Virion like they gave you in the prologue, the worth of your dancer is obviously much less. So, my general answer to everyone asking about whether they should re-roll their account with a 5-star xNira and 3-star units everywhere else, I would say, yeah, re-roll, because your xNira is not going to be super effective. But if you've got a bunch of 5-star offensive units and a 3-star Olivia, then, she can definitely put in work. So, my next point is about Sakura and the power of Physic, which is the range 2 healing staff. And the reason why I think she is so good is because she allows your units to be kind of in close quarters and to be kind of stacked in a vertical fashion, and still all be effective. So I made this kind of diagram here. So obviously you're green, the enemy is red. Both teams have a mage, but it also could easily be an archer, which the mage is denoted with M. The H is obviously healer, and then the 2 X's are infantry, just generic infantry frontline units. So in this diagram, your healer, you can see, is standing behind the mage because they're still able, from this position, the healer can heal this unit. She can walk here, heal that unit, or she can walk here and heal this unit. So from that backline position, she can heal every unit, and she also cannot be hit by any other units. The enemy healer, who is not, who has a range 1 heal, has to stand directly next to her front line to heal the front line, which then allows your mage to walk over here. Never mind. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. But hypothetically, if this unit moved over here, your mage can walk up and hit her. This healer is not protected, but over here, your healer is protected. And this kind of advantage, this formation advantage, is crazy good if you get it set up. So that's basically why Physic is really good, because it lets you have kind of 3 cake tiers, and the 3rd cake tier is protected. Whereas if you have a range 1 healer, you have only 2 cake tiers, and both of them are exposed. So, moving on to the second part of this video, where the goal of which is to, again, give you examples of how to judge relative unit strength, and then later how to team build. So, I'm going to talk about Robin as my example, because he's great, and for a long time people were kind of not thinking that. So, he's got a lot of things going for him. Firstly, he's got Blaraven, don't know how to say it, Blaraven, whatever, and this gives a colorless advantage, or he gives him weapon advantage against colorless or gray units. So, by virtue of being a blue unit, he already has a weapon advantage against the whopping 31 red units, and then with this tome, he gets advantage against the 22 gray units. And just for comparison, there are 18 green units and 22 blue units. So the fact that the red unit pool is huge makes blue units just really good, because there's just so many of them floating around. The other thing is that the reason why the red unit pool is so big is because all of the main character lords are sword users, basically, and so they're all in the red unit category. And they're all very popular, so, like, red units are just everywhere. So, like, the other unit that is everywhere is Takumi, and this will give him an advantage against Takumi, which is great. So this weapon is already fabulous and super good against the meta. The next thing is his speed. It caps out at 29, which is kind of middle of the pack. But he gets Defiant Speed, which at Defiant Speed 3 gives you plus 7 speed, I believe. Good check. It gives you plus 7 speed when you're below 50, which basically means when he starts to get low, he'll start doubling enemy units and will not be doubled by... it'll let him double units in his same speed bracket and not be doubled by those above his speed bracket, which is obviously great. The next thing is, he's got Spur Defense, which is really great because, you know, going back to this diagram, which is a total mess, if this is your mage, this is Robin. I'll use a different color. Yellow. So if this is Robin, the mage unit, he's giving Spur Defense to this frontliner. And obviously this frontline is where you want your defense. So the fact that he is giving, like, a needed stat to a unit that needs that stat is, like, called synergy, which is really good. His skills work well with how and where you want to play him, which is really good and cannot be said for all heroes. So he's got all these great things going on for him, but, like, kind of the last, like, really, like, kind of the kicker is that the other two blue mages, who are Odin and Lind, are really ineffective right now in this meta. So Odin is an anti-mage unit because he has Tomebreaker, and he's just not really effective because there aren't that many magic units running around, like, tome users running around. And then Lind is, like, I personally think she's bad because she's basically glass cannon. She's, like, kind of super, super high gamble. Like, she's going to kill everything she runs into, but she's also going to get killed immediately the moment someone can attack her. Which, given the fact that you only can play 4 units, can be super dangerous, because if you just, like, at one turn of mispositioned, if you just misposition her for one turn, she's dead, and you're down by a unit. So you have to be super careful, and I would just opt to use Robin, because has all these advantages, and he's safer, and he's just more useful. But depending on your playstyle, Lynn might be better, but I would argue that, like, the safer choice is the better choice. So that's why I've been touting Robin as an excellent mage, basically since, like, day one. Now, the next topic is Camilla, and as you can see, I've got 3 Camillas, and I've been trying to decide which one to use on my team, and so, obviously, this is my team, and Hinoka, is whatever. But the only thing to note about this team is that my Lucina has 30 defense, which is higher than her regular. So her, like, neutral base stat for defense is 25, and so my Lucina has a plus, like, her like asset is defense. And she also, I've merged her because I had a couple extra copies, and she got extra points in defense. So she is unusually bulky defensively, which is important for later. So before we kind of talk about specifically my Camillas, Camilla as a unit is kind of a strange one. Like, I think of her as having, like, a permanent midlife crisis, because she both wants to be a tank unit because she's got really high res and then pretty good defense, but she also wants to be an offensive unit because Draconic Aura obviously is offensive, and it can be used every 3 times she hits someone or gets hit. And then Savage Blow is also a very good offensive skill. So she kind of is mixed because she has these great skills, but she also has really bad speed and bad attack, which is the kind of the two stats that you need for offensive units. So she kind of has, like, she doesn't quite know her identity, in my mind. So, the other thing about Camilla as a unit is that her base attack is 38, which is, here's this chart that I've been referencing for stats. So as you can see, if you look at the attack column, 38 for Camilla is the lowest. Like, she has the lowest attack, and this Camilla in particular has minus attack, which is why it's only 34. But 38 is really low, and so she is not a good offensive unit. So, kind of getting to the main question: which Camilla of these three do I want to use on my team? So this level, this 21 level 21 Camilla has plus speed and minus attack, which basically makes her useless as a unit, because plus speed makes her want to be offensive, but obviously minus attack is going to counter that. So she'll not only hit twice with the Brave Axe, but she'll double and hit 4 times, but she's going to hit 4 times for 0 damage. So this Camilla is out of the running, basically, for being on the team. The next one is this level 32 Camilla, who has plus defense and minus res, which basically kind of switches her from being a physical tank, or switches her from being a magic tank to being a physical damage tank. But for this specific team, because I already have a Lucina with 30 defense, I don't need another physical tank. And so this level 32 Camilla would be made kind of redundant by Lucina, so I don't want to use that one either. Which leaves this last one, this last Camilla, who has plus HP and minus attack. And this kind of works out, because basically the extra HP makes her tank stats more effective, because she just has more HP. And then the minus attack is just whatever, because she wants to be a defensive unit anyways, because she has the extra HP and unchanged defensive stats. So I end up with a magic tank, I end up with a physical tank, and an offensive physical tank at that. I end up with the super OP Takumi and the Hinoka, who I like, but I don't know if I'm going to keep her, we'll see. And so that's the kind of thought I went to, like, that's like the thought process I had when I was deciding which Camilla to level up and put onto this team. So hopefully seeing someone else walk through their thoughts about how to think about tier lists and team building will help you make decisions for yourself. And if you have any topics you'd like to hear me talk about, leave me a comment, or PM me on Reddit, or my username is xNira there as well. So I'm super excited about this game and really want to make more content for it. So do send me stuff if you want to hear about it. So thanks for watching, and do subscribe if you're interested in seeing future content. Thanks.